Olakunri's killing. Soldiers may have to patrol highways. OSINBAJO. By Deo Johnson, Henry Amoru and Dennis Agbo. Angry reactions, yesterday, continued to trail killing of daughter of Afenifere leader, Mrs. Olufunke Olakunri, by herders along Benin-Or Highway, as Vice President Yemi OSINBAJO said the federal government will explore all options, including deploying soldiers on the nation's highways to address the spate of insecurity challenges across the country. This came as Apex Igbo socio-political organization, OSINBAJO, said Nigeria was descending into anarchy, considering the high level of insecurity in the country. Similarly, National Leader of All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, warned against stigmatizing herdsmen in the country, saying it could divide the nation. Also, Pronico and Project Nigeria called on the federal government to urgently convene a national dialogue and security summit to address the high level of insecurity in the country. Family of the Yoruba leader also, yesterday, insisted that Mrs. Olakunri, the 58-year-old mother of two, was shot dead by herdsmen who had attempted to kidnap her and other 3 occupants in her black Land Cruiser SUV marked Lagos AAA 147 FM, thus controverting the position of the Commissioner of Police in the state, who stated that it was erroneous to say herdsmen launched the attack. Soldiers will be deployed on highways. OSINBAJO. The vice president spoke during a condolence visit to Pafe Saranti in Akure yesterday. OSINBAJO, accompanied by Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, lamented that people make money from kidnapping because it's largely economic gains. He said, the federal government will explore all options, including deploying soldiers on the highways, towards addressing the growing cases of security challenges in Nigeria. As you know, I am here to commiserate with the families of Olakunri and Olufunke Saranti. This is a massive tragedy, as you can imagine. We have seen it replicated here and there, which is kidnapping and killings. As you all know, the president has very recently met not only the service chiefs but also the IGP, and he has laid out a new policy of community policing. One of the most important things in this sort of crime, because they are largely economic crimes, is that people try to make money by kidnapping. One of the most important things is intelligence gathering. That is why we have the community policing system, where policemen would be trained in their own local government and they would remain there. This is as close as we get to the community policing structure that we expect to have. The other thing, of course, is that we also are engaging the army so that there will be a bit of more military presence, especially along the roads. The Inspector General of Police has already committed to ensuring that there is full coverage of the police and even helicopters to fasten the search for these killers, and also to ensure that there is adequate presence to deter this kind of terrible situation from recurring. We are looking at the whole security architecture and trying to ensure that we are able to scale up and ensure that we are able to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians. Security in a big country as Nigeria is dynamic, and we also have to be consistently dynamic to ensure that we are able to beat the challenges as they appear. I think that we can be very hopeful that we would see peace and calm as some of the steps we are taking come to fruition. You know, also we meet with the governors in Southwest and in the different zones, and everybody is coming to ensure that security is adequate and that everyone feels safe and secure. Reacting to the killing yesterday, OSINBAJO, in a statement signed by the President General, Nianado, said, News reached Ohansndigbo yesterday of the heartless murder of the daughter of Olufunke Olakunri, Mrs. Olufunke Olakunri, on her way from Ekiti to Lagos by suspected herdsmen. We offer Chief Olakunri and the entire Yoruba the heartfelt sympathies of Ndigbo. The continuous rampaging, plunder, rape, kidnapping and murder of innocent Nigerians by armed herdsmen have climbed to a most worrisome crescendo. The inability of our security forces to disarm and prosecute these criminals gives credibility to a growing story of collusion. Recently, the British High Commission in an advisory to British citizens in Nigeria, declared 24 of our states unsafe. In the midst of these killings, their parent organization has the effrontery to give ultimatum to the President of Nigeria to rescind his unpopular suspension, instead of cancellation of his rugged development policy. Such inciting, provocative and treasonable outbursts have only been greeted with an advice that they should respect the presidency and an unrelenting resolve to force Nigerians to accommodate such murderers in their homes under a policy that violates our constitution and all laws and court judgments relating to land use administration. Ohansndigbo warns that this latest murder is capable of throwing our country into uncontrollable breakdown of law and order. The hasty conclusion by the federal government that she was killed by armed robbers and not the suspected herdsmen, who are known to have laid siege to all parts of the country perpetrating acts of banditry and killings, further exacerbates the already tense situation. Killings, Ohans calls for emergency security summit opens in a new browser tab. We call on eminent leaders of this nation in spite of their political persuasions to come together in an urgent national security conference to discuss measures that will arrest the extant drift to lawlessness. Don't stigmatize herdsmen, Tinubu. Speaking to reporters in a cure after paying condolence visit to Olufunke Olakunri, Tinubu, who was accompanied by former Osun State Governor, Bisi Akande, said, "We must not use this incident to divide ourselves, but we must use it as a cure to the security problem. I am extremely concerned about security. I don't want a stigma. I can go through history of kidnapping in Nigeria and we know how and where it all started. There are a lot of copycats. How many years ago have we faced the insecurity in the country? There are cases of kidnapping. Is Evans, who was arrested and made disclosures, also a herdsman? I don't want to be political, but I will ask, where are the cows? I am a nationalist and the security concern and challenge must be faced squarely throughout Nigeria. The incident that affected one member of our family, Mrs. Olakunri, is seriously saddening and unacceptable, but nobody can return her alive. She has answered the call of her creator. We must not use this incident to divide ourselves, but we must use it as a cure to the security problem. Additional police, additional patrols, and additional security reinforcement along our road and various flashpoints across the country are necessary, and I have discussed this with the various authorities. The Ondo State Governor is eminently aware and being proactive about this. The security challenges are numerous across this country, and to fight it, more policemen are being recruited and it takes time to train and deploy them to various areas. Nobody prepares more than necessary for this. But if you look at Zamfara, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti and all areas, then we need to fight poverty, unemployment and the causes that might lead people to crime. Equally, we must create opportunity to convert this tragedy to prosperity. Funk was very close to me and she died a premature death. Only 4 or 5 days ago, we chatted and I know what she discussed with me about Bubba's health conditions. We just pray that this will not happen again. Police, killers were bandits. You're wrong. They're herdsmen, family insists. Meanwhile, the family of the Yoruba leader disagreed with the police authorities in the state yesterday that the attack that led to Mrs. Olakunri's death was a robbery case and not that of herdsmen. While the state police commissioner, Udiadi, insisted that those who killed Olakunri were bandits and not herdsmen, the family insisted otherwise. Udiadi said, "All we know is that these are bandits that came to the road and started firing sporadically at motorists that were driving on the highway. That is what it is. There is no person that can say specifically that they were herdsmen. What we know is that they are bandits and we are going after them." But speaking with newsmen at the Japo residence of the Yoruba leader, his son, Afenifere, disagreed with the police chief. Kahind, a pharmacist and younger brother of the deceased, accused the police chief of lying regarding the profile of the attackers. He said, "At the police station in our town, shortly after the incident, I was told by officers on duty that those who operated and shot Mrs. Olakunri were Fulani herdsmen. We need to get the story straight. The way they operated, according to what the police said in Or, is the way Fulani herdsmen operate. 6 people were in front shooting at them. The driver put the car in reverse but unknown to him, some men were in the bush and started shooting at the car. The story that these are just bandits is a lie. If you want records, request the report I made at Or police station. They categorically said the attackers were Fulani herdsmen. It's about time we stood up and fought back. Nobody is protecting us. Eventually, they will come inside houses and kidnap people. We can't continue like this. I want the police to retract what they said. They, attackers, are Fulani herdsmen. Time something was done about killings." PDP. Equally reacting to the killing, People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the Southwest expressed concern over security concerns in the region. A statement issued by its zonal publicity secretary Fadaka, Inacure, read, "The party expresses its concern on the continuing carnage and wanton destruction of lives in the Southwest by criminals of Fulani extraction, now commonly referred to as Fulani herdsmen, and now declare that it is time something urgent and cogent was done on this malaise forthwith. We, therefore, take due notice of the murder of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunri, daughter of Yoruba leader, Afenifere, and thus declare this insult on the Yoruba nation is getting exacerbated. This murder possesses a potential devastating effect on the nation as it has further reinforced the fear and distrust of the Yoruba for the immediate future of our nation and its security management, which has clearly declined and deteriorated massively under the current dispensation. We also want to reiterate that the Yoruba nation is currently under siege as criminal elements from elsewhere have invaded our land, killing, raping and unduly oppressing us, with agencies of state constitutionally saddled with responsibilities to protect us not doing enough to manage this crisis in the Southwest. That the murder of Olufunke is the first high-profile one committed by these criminals, we hereby affirm that thousands of such murders have been committed by these same criminal herdsmen across the Southwest with no attendant repercussions on these criminal bands by agencies of government. That Yoruba people are enraged about these developments and believe that there exist plans to pursue ethnic cleansing in our nation. Due notice is constantly given to the fact that leadership of the Yoruba nation continues to be targeted by these criminal elements who once kidnapped Chief Olufale and attacked palaces, thereby desecrating and assaulting our corporate heritage as a people. APC consoles Afenifere tasks security agencies. In a similar vein, the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state consoled with Afenifere, challenging security agencies on surveillance. A statement by the State Publicity Secretary, Alex Kalaje, in a cure said, "It is our belief that the nonagenarian deserves a better deal from a society he served with all vigor and commitment. Only a divine consolation could tranquilize the devastating effect created by the wicked act." The state chapter is hopeful that the needless killing of Mrs. Olakunri would trigger a deeper duty-bound concern among security stakeholders to fish out the agents of the harbingers of this unimaginable pains. We also expect security agencies to do more in the area of surveillance and intelligence gathering to justify government's monthly investments on security concerns. Traveling on our highways should be made safer. It is also imperative to challenge security agencies to do their utmost in ensuring that other hapless souls languishing in various evil camps are liberated. We wish to remind all stakeholders that security is pivotal to the overall well-being of any society. Infrastructure development and efforts on economy can only add value if citizens are well secured. Pronico, PNM condemned killing. In their reactions, statesmen and leaders, under the aegis of top pan-Nigerian groups, the pro-national conference organizations, Pronico, and the Project Nigeria Movement, PNM, have condemned the killing of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunri and called for an urgent national political dialogue. Describing the murder as dastardly, wicked and ungodly, both groups said the murder was unacceptable and unbearable, as it was capable of aggravating the already tensed situation in the southwest and foisting unwanted civil strife on the country. We, therefore, strongly call on President Muhammadu Buhari, Chairman of the Governors Forum, Governor Kayode of Ekiti State, and National Leader of the ruling APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, among others, to urgently put a strong machinery in motion for national political engagements to prevent a breakdown of law and order over the cruel and criminal killings in Southwest by armed Fulani robbers and bandits, the two groups said in a statement signed by their joint spokesman, Olufunke Olakunri. Beyond the call to the President and others, Pronico and PNM notify their allied national leaders, statesmen and heads of nationality and self-determination groups about a possible emergency political convergence next week. They commiserated with the Afenifere leader and prayed for divine fortitude for those who have lost loved ones to banditry and kidnapping in the country. Pronico is a pan-Nigerian movement initiated under the leadership of the late Chief Anthony Nahuro and Nobel laureate, Professor Olufunke, to find solutions to the nation's challenges, while Project Nigeria Movement is a coalition of civil society groups, led by respected senior advocate of Nigeria, Ben Wabuse. Fish out the killers, Senate tasks IGP. Meanwhile, the Senate yesterday asked the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Muhammad Adamu to fish out the killers of Mrs. Olakunri, daughter of Afenifere leader and elder statesman, Afenifere. In a statement signed yesterday by the chairman, Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Ray Odi, in Abuja yesterday, the Senate said the IGP must ensure the perpetrators of the gruesome killing were apprehended and prosecuted. The Senate, while condoling with the family of Afenifere leader, described the gruesome killing of Mrs. Olakunri as sad, devastating, barbaric and a worrisome development. The statement read, "The National Assembly, Senate, is disturbed by the spate of incessant attacks and wanton killings of citizens by herdsmen, hired assassins, kidnappers and other men of the underworld that are having a field day and wreaking havoc on the life and properties of innocent citizens in the country. How have we gone this bad? Security to life," the Senate emphasizes, "is a fundamental right of every citizen. Therefore, Nigerians deserve this unalienable right from the government all the time." While condemning this heinous and barbaric act, the Senate urges the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, to begin massive manhunt for the killers of late Mrs. Olufunke Olakunri and ensure that the perpetrators of this gruesome killing are apprehended. Also, measures to prevent future occurrence of such incidents should be put in place by improving the security architecture on Nigerian highways, social gatherings and worship centers across the country. The Senate will cooperate with the executive and create enabling legislative environment towards solving this security crisis in the country. It will consider favorably every appropriation request from the executive targeted at strengthening security in the country. The Senate further extends its condolences to the elder statesman, Olufunke Olakunri, and the entire family, and pray God will console and be with the entire family in this hour of bereavement.